If you're looking for great sound, improved performance, and excellent build quality for your 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150, then the Corsa Sport setup will be the exhaust that you should have on your radar. This is a full catback system that replaces your stock mufflers and resonators, giving you much better sound wrapped up in a quality package. And unlike a lot of other aftermarket exhausts, Corsa has baked in some clever drone stopping technology to make things more pleasant for your daily commute. Even with that tech built in though, this is still going to get a 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Not quite enough to make your neighbors irate, hopefully, but certainly a marked improvement versus your stock setup. One quick note on fitment before we dive in here, this system is designed to fit 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150s, excluding Tremor models. So since we were just speaking of that exhaust note, this is Corsa's Sport level. So unlike some other catbacks on the market, it's not too loud. As you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, the tone here is nice and deep. It's got a nice bit of that big V8 rumble down low, just like you'd expect from a small block American lump. But as you get up in the rev range, it's got a bit more scream to it. It's a nice improvement over the factory setup since in stock form, you don't really get a whole lot of exhaust sound out of these trucks. It makes this sound more like a Mustang and it gives the engine the breathing room that it really needs to sing, which is great because the sound here is probably the best part of this engine and this system lets that character flow out. But again, it's not overly loud. Now inside the cabin, it's also going to keep things under control. There is of course going to be more volume than your stock system, but it's not so much that you can't listen to music or have a calm conversation. However, the best part is there is absolutely zero drone. Now to combat that drone, Corsa has packed in their RSC, or reflective sound canceling technology, inside of this muffler. Corsa's been using and refining this technology since 1998, and it works by utilizing specifically designed channels for each vehicle to eliminate the frequencies that can cause you that head-pounding drone that you sometimes get with aftermarket systems. But as you heard, this one doesn't mute the sound, so you're going to get that pleasant tone and some additional volume without the literal headache. Now, being that this is a single side exit setup, it's also rather subdued in the looks department. Where it differs from your stock system though is the tips. In this one, you get a 4-inch slash-cut polished twin tip setup here to cap things off nicely. It's a bit of a more subtle update from stock, especially as compared to some others on the market, but since these are larger than your stock single tip and they're nicely polished, it's not going to be something that the casual passerby may notice right away, but an enthusiast might clock it well in advance of getting up to your truck. However, the real tip-off will be when you fire up the engine and they get to hear this for the first time. Construction here is all T304 stainless steel, including those tips we were just looking at. That makes it the best when it comes to corrosion and rust resistance. The tubing is of course all mandrel bent, meaning you're going to get smooth exhaust flow with no weird creases in the middle of the piping. Now T304 is an excellent material. Again, it's going to provide you about the most corrosion and rust resistance you can get, but you're going to have to pay to play here. Speaking of which, pricing for this system comes in at around $1,200, and that makes it a decidedly premium option. But again, you're getting that high quality construction, really good sound, and the tech that eliminates drone. So this is going to be a great setup for someone who spends a lot of time behind the wheel and doesn't want to compromise. So if you log a lot of miles, or even if you just want that sound without having to blow out your eardrums, this is going to be an excellent choice. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about 2 hours to complete. Like any exhaust, it can be a little bit finicky due to the fact that most of us don't have access to a lift in our driveway or garage, but this is a totally bolt-on system that's going to utilize your factory exhaust hanger locations and doesn't require you to make any modifications to your truck. Plus you get all the clamps and hardware you need to get the job done. And to show you how to get that job done right now, let's head on over to the install bay.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, a 15 and 13 millimeter socket, and an exhaust hanger tool. All right, today we're gonna put in an exhaust on our F-150. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock system, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
Start by grabbing your 13 millimeter socket and undoing the 2 bolts at the flange. Next, take your exhaust hanger removal tool and get the muffler out of the isolator. Next, we're going to slide our exhaust towards the tail end so we can get them out of the 2 additional hangers, and then we're going to drop the whole exhaust as a full. I grabbed a buddy to help me out with that.
So we're gonna start off by getting our front flange pipe on. Now we do have our flange here. There is a beveled edge. You just wanna make sure that goes towards our flare. And we're just gonna slide this over our pipe, factory pipe here. Now normally you would have your 13mm bolts that you just thread in loosely. We'll come back, tighten them later. Our threads are gone, so we had to nut bolt them. So we're just gonna put our bolts through and thread our nuts on the back. But you would just simply need to thread in your 13mm bolts. So we'll come back, tighten that down the rest of the way after we get the rest of the exhaust on, but now we can get our muffler on. So next we're gonna get our muffler on. We're gonna grab one of our clamps. All the clamps are the same size, so we'll just slide that over first, and then slide our muffler over our front flange pipe. We can just let that rest there for right now. So we have our next pipe going on. It's just the one with our single hanger. So we have our clamp already on there. We're gonna slide it over our muffler and into this hanger at the same time. Now we have our over the axle pipe. Now it's gonna go into our two hangers here, and our pipe at about the same time. I already have one of our clamps sitting over our flared edge. Let's get this all lined up. All right, we'll get our pipes together. Just like that. So now we're gonna tighten our front flange. Now, like I said, normally you would just have a 13mm bolt that you're tightening. We have a nut and bolt, so 17mm to hold the head, 15mm hold to tighten the nut. While we're here, we can also tighten our front clamp. So we're gonna grab our impact and 15mm socket and tighten that down. Now we're at the back of our muffler, same thing, impact and 15mm socket, and tighten this down. Then we have our clamp for our over the axle pipe, same thing, impact and 15. So lastly, we just have our tips. So have our last clamp over it. Just slide over our tailpipe here. Grab our impact and 15mm socket. We're just gonna snug up the clamp first. We can get this to where we want it adjusted and go ahead and tighten that down. And that wraps up our install of our Corsa Performance Sport single exhaust system with twin polished tips for a side exit on our 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150, excluding the tremor. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.